TOMz.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Mzanzi Africa said I'm like teenagers on a mission, the best science and tech show, if we do say so ourselves. Namhlanje inkqubo yethu is brought to you by the SABC Education. Apha ku SABC 1 Mzanzi. For sure.
Namhlanje kusazobunani ngoba we exploring a topic that can be just found anywhere and everywhere around us. Ngikhuluma nge-design. And of course, kusukela yonke into yakho uthola uyiketela, umakhalekhukhwini, imoto, imigwaqo, ifurniture kanye nama-hospitals had to be designed.
Now there are many different definitions for the topic, but namhlanje we are going to focus on it design as a plan for ukwenza into entsha khacha.
Yebo, yes, bafethu. Now, whenever someone wants to build something like a new house, they have to think about everything and anything that goes into making it. During environment and materials they want to use and how the people inside will experience it.
So today we'll be going out to check some cool green innovations upper later in Kubeni. But in the meantime, remember about wena, ungathi Facebook, uthi Twitter, pages zethu, questions, comments, everything, anything. Sabe slap.
Yebo, yes, bafethu. Now, asinomosheni isikhathi esibona namhlanje siniphatheleni.
So look about what design is and how designers go from sketching freehand to super cool digital visuals. Shipping containers can do more than transport things. We go going to talk about more about the science behind responsible building techniques. Discover a few apps that can help you learn more about trying your own hand at design. And be inspired by our real advice from our counselor. Are you ready for the show?
The design comes in many different shapes and sizes, but the ultimate goal of a design ihlala nje injalo ayishintshe.
Ingabe ke wena Africa yazi ba yintoni or what we mean by a green building. But ke maskasiyeni imigwaqweni ethu sibone uba Mzanzi iyayazi na.
Check it out.
Freya, tell me, ngicela igama.
Snoop out here.
Oh, Snoop.
Sure.
Snoop, ngifuna ukwazi, what's the goal of design?
The goal of design is to attract the eye.
I think ukuthi manje ama-building wethu anga collapse due to yabona ama-fault kuma-building into ezinjalo like nje abe stable azosilasta for more than 20 years. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yini umehluko phakathi kwe-2D ne-3D drawing?
Okay, 2D into vele e-flat and 3D into khona uyibona ngathi yabo into khona ukuyibona ngathi ila kuwe yakhona ukuyibona yabo.
The difference is 3D, it shows three sides of whatever objects that you're showing, and then 2D only shows two parts.
Ufuna ukwazi ukuthi ukuthi abantu laba abaphethe lezi zinto zokudesign ama-healthy buildings nokwakha abobani?
Ama-architecture ngasho fili. Lewe ngicabanga ngakho.
Ama-architect nama-civil engineer yasebenza yabona, asebenza some.
What does green building mean?
Green building, I think maybe it's building building according to like environment.
I think it's yenzwe ngezinto ezi like eco-friendly.
A design aims to make izinto lula and better for abantu to use, while still keeping in mind that it has to look good. Now, in order for lento yenzeke, it has to go through a certain number of steps.
But while there might be a crazy load of processes involved in getting an idea from mind into reality, we are going to focus on the process of design from freehand sketching to computer-generated images.
Injalo kanye ke siya, this process can take from a few days to even iminyaka that a few, so we'll have a short overview of it all.
Designers usually start by sketching their ideas freehand. This allows them to quickly develop ideas and get a sense of what they are working towards. When they have a good idea of what is required, they move on to drawing 2D versions with computer softwares. These 2D plans also become the working drawings, which show exactly how something should be made or built and has a scale, measurements, and specific materials.
These days, designers are doing some extraordinary things by using new technologies and innovations for work.
Interesting. See, I'm trying to go in buildings that have incorporated shipping containers. Let's go strong up.
I am Arthur Blake, the Managing Director of Satiq Property Developers. Today we are looking at a small shopping centre in the heart of Melville. This park has been not been used for about 10 years. So looking around what can we do on the park, we found that there was a cost-effective way to build a small little shopping centre with a bohemian feel that will enhance the atmosphere of Melville. So we decided we can go conventional or we can go and build the whole shopping centre out of something very unique, shipping containers. It's fast to use. We don't make bricks again. We don't remake or make cement or sand or any other product that needs to come out of the earth again. We just use something that has already been made, and we are repurposing it for a very good use. If we look at the cost effectivity of using a container module, a center like this would take 7-8 months to build. We build, once we actually start building on this platform that you see, we take about 3-4 days. Then the whole complex is built out. You can compare that, for instance, 6 months of labor cost to 3 or 4 days of labor cost. It's an extremely strong structure and cannot be compared to a house. If you think of an earthquake comes, can it break the container? It certainly can't break the container. The nice thing about it is no new technical skills are required. Because you're using people that can weld, there are welders all over South Africa. So this is a metal box, so anything that you want to do in it, you either cut or weld in. And if you go, like we use prefabricated wall modules to go in, or we use drywall like any office building to put in. All those methods of construction already exist. We can actually take a guy off the road and put him on a course to weld, and he can come and start with our company. There's a lot of labor involved, cutting, welding, carrying, so all the skills that you use on a normal site is used here. Fitting out a shipping container is actually quite easy because you've got a metal surface instead of a brick surface. So if you put a screw into a metal surface, then you can understand that it's actually much more secure than in a brick surface because it's a metal screw to a metal surface. So literally there is no challenge in fitting the shop out for the consumer. This development creates an enormous opportunity for young developers, for young entrepreneurs, because the whole idea, the whole concept behind these small stores are that you can start with about as low as 2,000 Rand a square meter. And whereas in a center like Cresta, you would look at something like 25,000 maybe as a starters for your shop. Here we are looking at a startup cost of 2,000 Rand for your monthly rent. Obviously you've got to fit your container to look good, but we at SABC have decided that we don't want to limit people in the length of time that they want to be at the center. So if a guy wants to come and see, okay, I'm making a certain fashion product and I want to see if it works, he's welcome to come and open a shop here for a month, pay his rent and his deposit, and then try out his product. And then if he sees it doesn't work, he moves on. We don't hold them ransom by long leases or anything like that. So it's a great opportunity for young, enthusiastic entrepreneurs to start in a center like this.
Yo, yes, we're joining at 9 needs, but there's actually a lot of things that goes into ukwakha.
Wena uqinise ngempela kodwa ke kwamanje ke sithi shelele kancane itolo kodwa ke bese sibuya we explore another cool innovation in building science. Ngayindawo.
Mzanzi, that the world is undergoing a shift to make designing more environmentally friendly and that we can use specific principles to do this. Stay tuned.
TOMz. Ke bathandi beTOMz sisahleli nathi apha ku-Teenagers on a Mission apho ke SABC 1 Mzansi for sure.
Kusasemnandi ne? Neke. Now kusukela ecathulweni zakho kuyamabhengela around your wrist, just about everything we see has undergone some kind of design process. Now design aims to make impilo zabantu better and the environment, and namhlanje ke hlelo lethu we are figuring out what it's all about.
Now we've seen clever building professionals using shipping containers to bring an unreal building to life. Ngokukela ixesha basibona as a building project zinceda kanjani to take care of environment.
Ngempela sifuna but buildings have a huge impact on my environments. They use a lot of electricity, Mzanzi, give off carbon dioxide and produce waste that needs to be recycled.
Definitely. That's why a green building has been the buzzword for the past few years. These are buildings that are designed to have less negative impacts on environment and use the resources.
So, Sweden, bakuluma green walls, bakuluma green building designs. Do you know what green building design is? We are here in Rosebank to find out more. Follow me. Hi, Warren, how are you doing?
Very good, yourself?
I'm good. So, I want to know, tell me about green building design. What is that?
Well, green buildings are really about using the world's resources in a better way.
Okay.
Because buildings use a huge amount of the world's resources. They produce a lot of the world's waste, using a lot of energy and water, and ultimately people that occupy those buildings end up paying for it. So what green building design is about is getting the design right from the concept stage in commercial buildings, houses, hospitals, all kinds of buildings, where we can ensure that because we get the design right at the beginning, the building can be operated in a way where it uses much less energy and much less water.
So I want to know, what's the difference between green building design and a normal building?
Well, a lot of it really has to do with the quality of the environment for occupants. So we focus a lot on things like using natural light, so you don't have to use artificial lights and use energy for it.
Okay.
We use things like green walls, so that produces a better environment with less toxins for people inside of the space. And then when we look at things like water use, we would suggest ways in which water use may be reduced, just to save the amount of water that's being used in the buildings themselves.
So I can see you've got a green wall behind you. What's that green wall all about?
Having plants in the office actually improves the quality of the air for the occupants. There's a lot of research that shows that students perform better where they have lots of access to natural light rather than in darker spaces, where we actually use software to predict how much daylight we're going to get.
Sure, look. So what do you do?
Modeling for engineering. What we do, we perform rational design. I check and I meet the standards for 1000 taxi. Then we communicate as well with the architect through until project it will come construction. Okay, modeling busy no.
Okay.
So, as we can in a overhang projection for the windows. The 2 sunlight is extensive into the building.
Okay.
Then software use and design build in 2000 we check letsatsi motjheso wa lona rena e tlo tjhesa ka kang the occupants tse tota di dula ka mo ka building the user from the Monday to Tuesday, stuff like that. And then more to bale green wall mo.
Okay. So what makes this building green? What's so green about this building?
Into it's a building be green. Number one ke taba ya orientation. Le site le mo.
Okay.
Le ka mo shebileng ka teng.
Okay.
So ka bona re mo kana le North Point ya rona shebile ka mo le di big windows on this side with local shading here. Le the big overhangs that will help our ka summer. They reduce the heat rate ya kenang ka mo building. Then on this side we have the window tse nyane because ka mo natural sunlight
Okay.
And one other thing for these big windows the two sun or happy natural sunlight can come into the building, which is quite useful for but what they because into high natural sunlight enough it can be dangerous and and it's our lebato slow in productivity, especially for what facility on rooftop or to solar panel to save energy from Tagasi because that solar panels can be connected to the grid ESCOM.
Okay.
So it let to reduce energy. Load shedding if most South Africa the same things for all buildings, taba le di-solar panel ne di ka thusana haholo for saver energy ko di-building.
Okay. So do you have like any disadvantages when designing a green building?
Well, the main disadvantage is that it's different from what's been done in the past. So it's not business as usual. And that means that the whole industry is geared towards what's been done in the past few decades in terms of building design, which is often trying to get it done as quickly as possible and only looking at the sustainability and green issues later on.
Okay.
So the big challenge for us is to try and get involved as early as possible because that's the cheapest time to implement the changes. And all of these changes, they often cost very little extra, but they can enable the occupants of the buildings to make massive savings during the life cycle of a building.
Science investigates the physical science of building and has 4 major areas. Now the first is indoor environmental quality, which basically says how healthy it is for people inside the building. Things like izibane, airflow and sound play a big role here. Now the second is HVAC systems, which refers to heating, ventilation and air conditioning. Now everything that keeps the temperature just right. Then there's envelope systems, which form a barrier and protect the people inside from noise, temperature and sunlight outside. And then lastly, we have building sustainability, which refers to building structures that are good for the environment and will last long. Now, while you guys aren't building your own structures just yet, you can already play your part in living green and making sure our environment is still healthy for generations to come.
Ukwenza lokhu ke enza sure ukuthi usave amanzi ngokuthi ungashiyi impompi ivulekile futhi uphinde ulahle udoti wakho emgqonyeni and make sure that your old electronics go somewhere where they can be recycled.
With water and everything, don't forget to close that tap because when we come back, we'll get an idea of how design has changed over the thousands of years and be inspired by advice from England.
Siyaboya.
Since sizothola kabanzi where the idea of design started and what the career in architecture looks like. We also get smart with some apps. Stay tuned.
TOMz. Teenagers on a mission brought to you by the so incredible SABC education. SABC 1 Mzanzi for show.
So sifike kwi-segment yethu yokugcina-ke njengoba sikhuluma nge-design, exploring the incredible ways in which design changes ilizwe lethu.
Alright, so we've seen how it plays out in building science. To find out uba yonke lento isuka phi kanye kanye.
Since sizothola kabanzi where the idea of design started and what the career in architecture looks like. We also get smart with some apps. Stay tuned.
The history of design in architecture, however, is so expensive ukuthi abanye abantu badedicate impilo zabo zonke ukuthi bayifunde.
The whole lives even. But what we can say though is that there were some key design styles at certain periods of time. So today we'll take a look at them. In ancient Egypt, 3000 BC, powerful rulers ordered the building of enormous structure like the pyramids, which were feats of engineering for their time. After that, the classical period was in full swing with very precise details and rules for design that are still used to this day. Around 1100 AD, Gothic architecture had its way, allowing designers to build tall, graceful buildings and beautiful cathedrals. In the mid-1900s, Art Deco exploded, creating dramatic lines and patterns inspired by the architecture of ancient Egypt. Now we find ourselves in the modernist and postmodernist age, marked by diversity and the reinvention of historical details. Designers are revisiting the benefits of using traditional methods and materials like wood and mud, while incorporating new technologies like 3D printing buildings, coding and design, seriously complicated building skills, taller and thinner structures, and even using data in design. New solutions are being found for modular buildings, like classrooms and disaster relief, and using nature and biology to improve design.
So wena bongo uyazi ukuthi there are actually many different types of design laphana ngaphandle. Khola graphic, industrial, furniture, jewelry, landscape, costume kanye ne-web design, and all of them have different purposes but still aim to make things better for abantu.
Wow, now I bet Nina Bekaya aching to try your own hands at design. So I guess I'm saying like where's the apps?
So be sure to get your hands on some Home Design 3D, an incredible app that lets you draw and decorate your own house in 3D. You can go wild with your design interior, customize floors, walls, and even furniture. You gotta check out mine, it's too fresh. If you'd rather learn more about design and get to speed on what's happening in the world of architecture, then check out www.architecture.org. There you'll see all the latest developments and ufunde kabanzi about everything from histories to design used in movies. How about that?
Architects is someone who designs and plans structures, so they have to take into account so many different things when designing, which is what makes it really an interesting career.
Very, very interesting. Now, the work of architects also influence the safety yabanye abantu, and that's why they have to undergo some special training.
Now let's hear what guide counselor yet has to say ngalomba.
Architecture is a qualification that is difficult to get into, and you need to get at least a C for maths and physical science. A technical skill that is also a well-paid career is drafting. A draftsman or a drafter utilizes computer-aided design and hand drawings to make technical drawings and blueprints for various structures. There are many different courses offered all over the country where technical skill and practice can get you very, very far. Google it for more info. Hey, ngabe uhamba olude ngempela ukuthi nawe usuyithola usuyi-professional architect, but certainly the job does seem to have a lot of perks.
Injalo kanye siyazi ifana like designing new innovations that can make impilo zabantu zibe bhetere. Now we architects have a lot of responsibility. Singamoshanga ixesha masivo sochwepheshe uba bathini nabona ngalomba.
If you are interested in design, construction and creating amazing projects like the 27 boxes, work very hard at your maths and science and become an engineer, or study architecture or decor and work with contractors on site, and that will give you an avenue into the construction industry where you will learn how to create these amazing structures.
Yes, my first sifikile lesikhathi-ke lapha sikhuluma nani lapha emakhaya kwi-social sessions yethu. Ikhomenti esokuqala ke ibuya ku-Brutus Lisiba, yena kathi, wow, what a great show. Uyayithanda ngempela science and technology, and he thinks that TOMz is really interesting.
Upper studio, we completely agree with you, Brutus. The science and technology is great. Uyawasicela ke Brutus if you'd read his comment apha enkqubeni yethu. Well, Brutus, your wish is now come on.
Yes, a big shout out from us, Lagu TOMz, to Brutus Lisiba, and thank you so much to all his friends. Thanks rather for watching Brutus. It's great to have friends abafana nawe laphana ngaphandle.
Jacob Brutus ke nawe ungasifumana ku Facebook at TOMz as well as ku Twitter at TOMz_SABC_1. Ilisha lomhluzi ke bethu nani sikulele esipheleni kwesiqendu sethu namhlanje. Kodwa bekumnandi nesiya. We've learned a lot namhlanje, the ins and outs of design as well as seeing how it manifests in cool, innovative buildings.
Yes, bafethu. Now, wane lapha ekhaya uma usanombuzo nje or okanye usa-unclear about something, then feel free to post them on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and kwazibani, you might just see your answers right here on the show.
Abeqhubeni yethu kanye siyanthanda ke Mzansi Africa sithi
Goodbye.
Next time on TOMz, Sifuna kabanzi what energy is and how we use it everywhere, and we go back in time to discover the origins of how we harness energy on Earth. Don't miss TOMz njalo ngomsombuluko nangolwesibili at 4 p.m. khona la ku SABC 1 Mzansi for show.